So I ask this question, and I ask this question continually in our public schools and our parochial schools across the land when I have the chance. And I say especially to young people, you'll be called upon to make a profound moral decision in this society, in this civilization. If you're 14, 15, 16, 18 years old, 19, 20 years old, you will, or though you'll be among those who will, have to make that profound decision, the moral decision. And you ask only two questions. It's very simple, and it's this simple. The first question is, do you believe in the sanctity of human life? Is human life sacred in all of its forms? Is your life sacred? Is the person next to you, is their life sacred? People on either side, are their lives sacred? And it becomes almost a universal yes. I've actually never had a student say, no, I don't think so. I don't think my life is sacred and I shouldn't be treated in a sacred fashion. I've never had that happen. They nod their heads. It's universal that we believe that life, human life, is sacred in all of its forms. So once we establish the answer yes to the first question, is human life sacred, the only question to follow that up with is, then at what instant does life begin? You have to choose an instant. And I describe it this way. You can't guess at it. What if somebody came by the gymnasium or the auditorium and stuck a gun in the door and turned their head the other way and pulled the trigger and ran down the hallway without looking back? If they were captured outside the building, you could ask them, did you kill somebody or didn't you? And their answer might be, I don't know. But we know that if the gymnasium emptied and there's someone in there who's dead with a bullet hole in him, yes, the answer is he did kill somebody. And if it results in a dead baby, someone was killed. And you cannot guess when it comes to life. You can't err when it comes to life. You must choose that instant that life begins. It can't be a first trimester, a second trimester, a third trimester. It can't be viability outside the womb. We know it goes up beyond 24 weeks or below 24 weeks for viability today. There's no baby that's born in 9 months full term that really is viable without being nurtured by its mother and by its parents. And they've got to be nurtured. And so whether it's the instant before they're born or the instant after, when does life begin? I remember asking that question when that first little miracle, that firstborn of our family was put into my hands. And I looked at that little child, and I was struck by the awe of the miracle. And I don't remember that I thought this through on that day, but I remember going to work the next day, and I was sitting there thinking this through. And I still believe there is a certain aura about that firstborn child. And I asked myself, here's this miracle that's been in my arms within the last hours. This little child, this miracle, could someone take his life today? And of course the answer is no. Could they have taken his life yesterday, the day he was born? No. Could they do so the minute after he was born? No. The minute before he was born? No. What about 10 minutes before, or 2 hours before, or a day, or a week, or a month before he was born? The answer is no, no, and no, Mr. Speaker. And so if you can't do that, if it's abhorrent to us to think about the idea of ending the life of our unborn child a day, a week, or a month before they're born, just as we couldn't think of that a day, a week, or a month after they're born, then we've got to take this back to an instant that our life begins. And it's that simple. And this has become a political argument that's destroyed the lives of 50 million babies, to the point where we argue that this civilization has a hole in it in the generation. I remember standing down on the mall, this would be, I believe, a year ago, January 22nd, on the March for Life. And if you look out across that mall, there were over 100,000 there that day. This year, there was a far bigger number in the March for Life.